Welcome to the channel Learn with Danish. Subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Hello everybody, welcome to the channel Learn with Danish. Today we are going to take a class on the famous play by Bhasa, URUBHANGAM. This is a text that is prescribed for the 6th semester BA English program students of Calicut University. I happen to make this video because when I searched in the YouTube search engine, I haven't come across any video that explains the text URUBHANGAM by Bhasa in English. There are many explanations in various other local languages, but very few in English. In fact, I haven't found any. So I thought that this video would do some kind of help for the English students of Calicut University. So let's just get into the slides. As I would be making this video into two parts. We would be discussing a general introduction related to URUBHANGAM in this video, and the second part of the video we would be getting into the text as such. So as you know, URUBHANGAM is Sanskrit literature. Sanskrit literature because it's written by Bhasa, which is considered to be one of the greatest writers of Sanskrit literature. We have many renowned writers. You might have the first name that comes into your mind would be that of Kalidasa. But Bhasa, our writer, had lived years before Kalidasa had lived. Right. And I don't know whether I get this sloka correct. It is often said that Bhaso Bhasa Kavikula Guru Kalidasa Vilasa. It literally means that Bhasa is considered to be the guru of poets in Sanskrit literature, whereas Kalidasa is considered to be its address. And the greatest Sanskrit writer Kalidasa himself has mentioned Bhasa and Saumilyan in the prelude to his first dramatic work, that is Malavigagnimitram, and he says that he is blessed, or he takes pride in himself when to perform his plays on a stage that once staged Bhasa's plays. So it signifies the importance of the writer Bhasa during the time of Kalidasa itself. So he had a tremendous influence on the writers of that particular age. He may be before 200 to 300 years before Kalidasa came actually. So Bhasa as such, we don't know when exactly, which century exactly did he live in, but it is often opined that he lived during Chandragupta Mauryan dynasty, which happens to be around 4th century or 5th century BC. Right. So it is during that time, and we have at present 13 plays that is ascribed to, or that is believed to be written by Bhasa. And it is in the year 1910 that these 13 plays were actually coordinated by a person in Travancore. We'll get into that. So the basic signatory creativity of Bhasa is that he tried to glorify certain characters from plots within Mahabharata and Ramayana, and he tried to bring in those characters who were usually oppressed or who were actually treated as an antagonistic figure. For example, in this particular play, URUBHANGAM, we see that there is a glorification of the character from Mahabharata who is called Duryodhana. Duryodhana is often associated in the antagonistic part of Mahabharata. Similar is the case with Karnabharam. Karnabharam, we have Karnan, who is actually glorified in that particular play. So Bhasa derives his plot from great epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata. In fact, Mahabharata, he has got 6 plays, 6 natakas, which centers around the plot of Mahabharata. among which URUBHANGA is one of them. And from the Purana, Srimad Bhagavata, and most probably from Brihat Kada of Gunadhya. Right, so Brihat Kada and Lokakatha, all these things are different sources for Bhasa to write his plays. So this is the person that I was talking of earlier. He is Mahapadhyay T. Ganapati Shastri. In the year 1910, he's from Travancore, and he discovered a collection of 13 plays with a similarity of expression and construction, and declared them as the compositions of one single writer, that is Bhasa. So it is in 1910 that Mahapadhyay T. Ganapati Shastri of Travancore had declared that these 13 plays belong to Bhasa. It has got a similar kind of expression and construction in that play. Right. So let's just get into the next slide. So in this slide, I would be talking about the Bhasa Nataka Chakram. Bhasa Nataka Chakram is in fact the division of Bhasa's 13 plays based on the different epics that we had talked of earlier. So I just made a small flowchart like thing. The first source is from Mahabharata, then you have Ramayana, then you have Brihat Kada, then you have Srimad Bhagavatam and Lokakatha. So these are the basic 5 sources from which these 13 plays of Bhasa are written. So in Mahabharata we have Pancharatram, Dudavakyam, Madhyama Vyayogam, the Dudha Kadojagam, Karnabharam and Urubhangam. In Ramayana we have Pratima Natakam and Abhisheka Natakam. I would like everybody to be excused because I don't know the exact pronunciation. Hope I get the pronunciation correctly. In Brihat Kada we have that's Pratignyaya Ghadaryanam and Swapnavasavadattam. In Srimad Bhagavatam we have Balacharitam, and in Lokakatha we have Avimarakam and Daridra Charidattam. And Daridra Charidattam is often repeated by or translated into different versions. In fact, it is the poet Vallathol. Vallathol in Malayalam literature had translated our particular text, URUBHANGA, into Malayalam. If you get a copy of that, please do read. This is the text that I had referred to in this particular class. This is a translated text by C.R. Devadar, and you have the publication details, and I'm indebted to Nasrullah Mambroy sir, who is the owner of literariness.org website, who has given me this particular PDF text for reference. So let's just get into the slide. URUBHANGAM. So this is the text that we are talking of. In the play URUBHANGAM, the writer has mastered the skill of kavya, and this is basically called a rupakam. So there is a doubt whether it is a pre-Bharadan stage setup or a post-Bharadan stage setup, because Bharata Muni was a person who actually treatised Sanskrit dramaturgy in his Natya Shastra. So we don't know whether it is written pre-Bharata or post-Bharata, but in fact when we look into the play, it is rather unconventional because death is portrayed on the stage. Usually death is not portrayed on the stage. Vyayogam, it can be classified as Vyayogam also, wherein we have a conflict, a kind of conflict that is projecting here, and there are certain female roles, and the conflict is not completely associated or occasioned by female interference as such. So there is Vyayogam also. They can be classified into Vyayogam. The play is often referred to as Rupakam, as it was called then, because it was way before the norms of dramaturgy, Sanskrit dramaturgy existed. And URUBHANGA belongs to the plot derived from Mahabharata. Mahabharata was actually written by Vyasa Maharshi, and Vyasa Maharshi happens to be one of the characters, or maybe one of the spectator to watch the duel that is going on between Bhima and Duryodhana in the play. So URUBHANGA is from Mahabharata, and Mahabharata is basically the fight between Pandavas and Kauravas. Both are related to each other. The play begins with the end of the last war in Mahabharata, or the last duel in Mahabharata, which was between Duryodhana and Bhim. It was a mace war. Mace war means Gada, the attack through Gada. And we see that there is a clear description of the warfare or the battlefield as such in detail in the induction scene of URUBHANGA, which also depicts the battle scene of Duryodhana and Bhima in vivid detail. Who actually attains momentum in the first part of the duel is also discussed there. Now we'll look into certain changes that Bhasa has brought into this particular play. That is the changes from the Mahabharata. Here I have listed out 5 major changes, but just see through it. What are the major changes? I don't know whether if you know the story of Duryodhana and Bhim duel earlier. Actually, Duryodhana was defeated by Bhim through deceit, which was actually put forth by Arjuna or signaled by Arjuna in the epic Mahabharata. It was a mace fight. And Bhim actually crushed Duryodhana's thigh. That is why the title goes like URUBHANGA. It is also literally translated as the shattered thigh. So the first change is that it is Sri Krishna who actually signals to Bhim that he need to thrush, or he need to slash, crush thighs of Duryodhana in order to make him fall, and not Arjuna. Arjuna was the one who signaled, but in that Mahabharata epic also we see that Arjuna is actually Arjuna signaled the left thigh to Bhim after the intervention of Sri Krishna. But here Bhasa directly, Sri Krishna intervenes in the play, and he is the one who is actually signaling his left thigh to Bhim in the play. The second difference is Vyasa and Vidura. Both are the people who, one is a king and one is a Maharshi, and they are among the spectators of the duel. In fact, they don't appear in Mahabharata. In fact, Mahabharata was written by Vyasa. Duryodhana's parents, the third difference is that Duryodhana's parents are led by Durjaya, Duryodhana's son in the battlefield, Samanta Panchaga, but in Mahabharata they stay in Hastinapura, right? So we see that the members of the family of Duryodhana, that is father, mother, wives and the son, all come to the battlefield in order to talk to him during his last breath. But we see that in the original epic, it is the Pandavas who actually go to Hastinapur to console Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, the parents of Duryodhana, right? So that is another change, major change that is happening in this particular play. The fourth change is that is one of the most vigorous, or one of the most prominent change from the epic Mahabharata. Because there is a change in the conception of the character of Duryodhana. Conception of the character of Duryodhana in Mahabharata is absolutely different compared to Bhasa's URUBHANGA. In the Mahabharata, Duryodhana reviles Krishna. Reviles means he insults Krishna, right? He abuses Krishna. He uses bad words in Mahabharata. But here he repents for his misdeeds and is glorified till the end. He has a pleasant death. He has a pleasant death where he sees all his relatives coming. He has attained what he had wished for. That means his coronation is done to his son. All these things are welcomed by Duryodhana in this particular play, and he's glorified basically. But in the original epic, we see that Duryodhana stands for the other side, or what you call the enemy side of the entire system of warfare activity. And he's against the Pandavas. Pandavas figure out the good side in Mahabharata, and Kauravas figure out the bad side in Mahabharata. So basically, an antagonistic figure is glorified into great nobility. In fact, we actually sympathize with Duryodhana after reading this particular play. Duryodhana doesn't have any motive of revenge. That is another change. In fact, he motivated Ashwatthama to take revenge upon Pandava in Mahabharata, but here it is just the opposite that is happening. Ashwatthama actually urges Duryodhana to give him permission to take revenge, but Duryodhana ultimately says that there is no need because everybody is dead, and he has not been conquered as such. He has been defeated through deceit, so there is no problem as such. And we see that the Duryodhana doesn't have any kind of motive of revenge in this particular play by Bhasa, rather than there is a revenge motive seen in the epic Mahabharata. Okay, so after going through all these, we tend to sympathize. One would really sympathize with Duryodhana in such a manner that he would be considered to be one of the noblest heroes of the epic Mahabharata. Right, and even though he is physically, even though Bhim is not physical, he's physically strong. Bhim is physically strong, but when you come up with Duryodhana is not physically strong. He's well trained. And he's skilled in the armory of Gada, or the armory of the mace war as such. Okay. So this is the picture that I got from the internet. So the whole story is about Bhima and Duryodhana having their last fight, and the fight is through mace, that is a Gada, right? So there is a mace fight between Bhima and Duryodhana, and the fight happens at the induction of this particular play, and the fight is over by soon after the first scene, that is the induction scene, is over. And we tend to see that Duryodhana is being visited by some people, which majority of it include his own parents and his kith and kin, family members. And ultimately, we would be looking into the text in great detail in the next video. Till then, it's me, Danish, signing off. If you have any comments, or if you have any doubts related to the introduction part, please do post it in the comment box below. Till then, wait for the second part of this video. Thank you all. Learn with Danish.